After Xianxia and Long Shui finished their meal and drank their wine, they did not stay in the hotel for long. They had already agreed to come back after a while. At the same time, he had asked Yang Yan to help him find ice and fire attributed holy fruits from the god's realm. After Xianxia left, Yang Yan stood by the bedside and looked at the Xianxia who had disappeared at the end of the street and sighed softly. Yan, I know you like to make friends, not bad. But this Xianxia is too dangerous. Although he looks not bad, we still have to be vigilant, and we can't let Hell Devil Emperor know that you and he have dealings, otherwise it will be very troublesome. Suddenly, a middle-aged man dressed in simple clothing appeared behind Yang Yan. He was Yang Yan's father and master, Yang Kai Rui. Father, Xianxia is a good person. I think that he will definitely have some accomplishments in the future. And as long as you treat him sincerely, he will also treat you as a good friend. Yang Yan said, Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. If something happens, I will take responsibility myself. You're my son. If something were to happen to you, how could I bear to let you handle it? Yang Kai Rui patted Yang Yan's shoulders. I hope you're not mistaken. Yang Yan said, What happened at Hell Devil Emperor? What happened to those two war gods? Furthermore, the person who killed them was not the Azure Dragon. Otherwise, no matter how close the relationship between the penalty Heavenly God and the Azure Dragon is, he wouldn't be able to take advantage of the situation and send the Azure Dragon into hell. Su Yun said in a low voice. Hearing his father's words, Yang Yan was shocked and hurriedly said, So you're saying, those two war gods were killed by Xianxia? How did he kill it? Impossible. Even if it is father, I am afraid that we cannot shake the body of the profound God, and even if it is possible, it would be very difficult to erase the soul. Yang Kai Rui nodded. That's why I'm worried that you and Xianxia are getting too close and are causing trouble. If it was really Xianxia who killed him, penalty Heavenly God will also turn a blind eye. As long as Xianxia did not take the initiative to look for penalty Heavenly God, penalty Heavenly God will not look for him. However, the Hell Divine Palace and the War God Shrine are currently pressuring the penalty Heavenly God. They hope that the penalty Heavenly God will punish Xianxia and send him to hell. Yang Yan frowned. Doesn't this mean that it will be detrimental to Xianxia? If penalty Heavenly God is unable to withstand the pressure, then Xianxia will certainly be sent to hell and will never be able to recover. Yang Kai Rui laughed. Don't worry. That penalty Heavenly God fellow will not easily agree. Moreover, the more you force him, the more he will do the opposite. Back then, the god of fortune's ancestor had hardened his heart to send the Azure Dragon to hell. But the penalty Heavenly God had always disagreed with him. You should tell him about this first, and let him be a bit mentally prepared. After Xianxia left the Wind Eye City, he immediately ran to the Fengshan Native Bank and went straight to Yufan's residence. Of course, Yufan knew about the two war gods that the Hell Devil Emperor had sent. At that time, he thought that Xianxia was definitely going to die, so he told Xianxia to kill him. No matter what the result was, it would be beneficial to him. Now that Yufan found out that the two war gods had died and saw Xianxia standing in front of him smiling, his heart skipped a beat. Master Yu, that Yang Yan is too powerful. I can't kill him, you better change your target. Xianxia had no intentions to break off all decorum with Yufan yet. Of course, Yufan didn't know that Xianxia had already become friends with him. Nor did he know that Xianxia had already understood his character. Not bad, Yang Yan is really strong, it's good that you're fine. Seeing that Xianxia was still looking for him, Yufan was happy in his heart, because Xianxia was an outstanding divine deity hunter. Xianxia deliberately snorted coldly. Yang Yan is very strong, but I almost killed him. As long as I can cultivate an emperor's soul, I can kill him. Seeing how serious Xianxia was speaking, Yufan started to believe him. Right now, he was just curious how those two war gods didn't kill Xianxia and how they died. Emperor's soul? Yufan asked. What is this? The name of God's realm was not Emperor's soul, but rather soul essence. The green dragon had mentioned it to Xianxia before. Soul essence. Xianxia said. You still don't have soul essence left? Yufan was shocked. He thought Xianxia's strength should be close to that of a demigod. If I had it, I would have killed Yang Yan long ago. Xianxia sighed. If only I had another divine deity, I would be able to kill Yang Yen. Yufan's heart suddenly thumped. He knew that Hell Devil Emperor had paid a huge price and sent 2 war gods to kill Chun Xiang. But Chun Xiang was still alive, while the 2 war gods were dead. Hell Devil Emperor would not deal with Chun Xiang in the near future, because Hell Devil Emperor's vitality was greatly injured, and he would need a period of time to recover. He was definitely hoping that Chun Xiang would be a bit stronger than him, so that he could continue to rely on Chun Xiang to hunt divine deity. Now that he knew that Chun Xiang did not have soul essence, he could kill powerful people like Sun Yu and Peng Rini. If Chun Xiang were to condense soul essence, then he would not need to think so deeply about the targets that Chun Xiang would choose, and Chun Xiang could also help him hunt for divine deity even faster. Yufan had suspected Chun Xiang before, and he had even planned to borrow Chun Xiang's hand to kill him. But now that he saw that Chun Xiang had still come back to him in a daze, he made him think that he had completely fooled Chun Xiang. Lord Yu, this is the divine money you gave me last time. I didn't use it much, so I might as well return it to you. Chun Xiang returned the hundreds of gold coins that Yufan had given him. Yufan received the divine money, and after careful consideration, he sent a sound transmission to Chun Xiang. I'll give you Peng Rini's divine deity, and help you cultivate and produce soul essence. But in the future, you have to help me hunt even more divine deity. Of course, when the time comes, you can also get some yourself. Is this appropriate? That divine deity is worth 20 million divine coins. Chun Xiang asked. Of course it's appropriate. I'm helping you increase your strength, and you have to help me hunt more divine deity. This is a fair deal. However, after you have cultivated your soul essence, you must not look for Yang Yen again. His father is very powerful, and if you fail to kill him the first time, there will be no second chance. Yufan was worried that if Chun Xiang went back again, he would lure the penalty heavenly god out, and Chun Xiang would be dead for sure. Okay, as long as I can cultivate it, I will definitely help you hunt divine deity multiple times. Chun Xiang said with a sincere face. Yufan took out a piece of divine deity and passed it to Chun Xiang. Once you have cultivated the soul essence, come and find me immediately. Chun Xiang received the divine deity, nodded his head, and then quickly left. He was overjoyed in his heart. He did not expect that it would be so easy to swindle Peng Rini's divine deity from his hands. This bastard is too worried. After knowing that I had the strength to almost kill Yang Yen, in order for me to quickly hunt down more divine deity, I actually tripped. Chun Xiang was overjoyed in his heart. Some people who were scammed would only fall for it because they were too greedy. Yufan thought that Chun Xiang had no one to rely on in the divine prison, and only he was able to receive Chun Xiang. He also thought that he had treated Chun Xiang very well. Giving him so much God's money was enough to bribe his heart, so he trusted Chun Xiang very much. Chun Xiang originally only wanted to give it a try. He was even a little worried that Yufan would see through him, and was already prepared to escape. Who knew that after a few casual words, Yufan would obediently take out Peng Rini's divine deity. Obtaining this divine deity, Chun Xiang returned to Bane II with an extremely joyful mood. Right now he already had 4 divine deity, 2 of them were average, and the other 2 were profound god-level divine deity. Furthermore, he had not refined the divine deity which had engulfed the Hell Prince back then, so he would refine the divine deity when he had cultivated them. This way, his emperor's soul would become even stronger. Seeing that Chun Xiang was in a good mood, the green dragon laughed and asked, "What are you so happy about? Could it be that you have hunted for divine deity outside?" Chun Xiang laughed. "Yes, I obtained the divine deity, but it was handed over by someone else with both hands." Then, he told Yufan about coaxing, causing the green dragon to laugh out loud. "What's next? Will you still look for him?" "Of course I'll go, and I'll even go together with Yang Yen to play with him." Seeing that Yufan trusted him so much, Chun Xiang must make full use of this point. Had played with him before too. Right, the War God Shrine and the Hell Divine Palace are pressuring Penalty Heavenly God right now. They want him to send me to hell. The green dragon stroked his beard and smiled. "Don't worry. The more it is like this, the more Penalty Heavenly God will not agree. According to the rules set by the Penalty Heavenly God, when people intrude this place to kill people, he would normally not care much about it, not to mention that those two war gods took the initiative to look for you. That way I can feel at ease, had said the same thing before. But now that the Azure Dragon had said the same thing, Xianxia felt even more at ease. I'm going to cultivate. I'll produce the Emperor's soul earlier. Xianxia ran towards a cave that the Green Dragon had created for Xianxia. They had already moved to a place with mountains and rivers, a place that had already been destroyed because of the great battle. Xianxia entered a quiet stone room and started to circulate the heavenly alchemy's spirit refinement method, training his soul. The so-called Emperor Soul ability was actually a type of sacred art, but it was a very special ability, and most of them were unique. For example, Long Xue's sleeping ability could also be considered a sacred art, and this sacred art was very powerful and mystical. Previously, when he was chatting with Yang Yan had said that it was usually called an innate ability in the gods' realm. Xianxia was a little worried that her life ability was not suitable for him. Emperor Soul was the word for 9 heaven world, and in God's realm it was called soul essence. The innate ability was born from this internal energy. As long as one cultivated a soul lattice from the internal energy, the soul lattice and divine deity would merge together and one could become a true god. The process was very complicated and difficult. The heavenly alchemy's spirit refinement scripture was similar to this, it was just that Xianxia had not reached that stage yet. If he did not have a good cultivation method, it would not be easy for him to cultivate Emperor Soul. Both the 9-turn Dragon God mantra and the heavenly alchemy were good cultivation methods, but Xianxia mainly trained in the heavenly alchemy and the 9-turn Dragon God mantra, so he did not cultivate the 9-turn Dragon God mantra anymore. Although he was changing the cultivation method later on, Xianxia was still able to adapt to it. Because the heavenly alchemy was originally very profound, it did not affect him. Xianxia still had unrefined souls inside his divine deity, and these souls were all devoured by him and were all extremely powerful. As long as he refined these souls, he would be able to absorb a large amount of pure divine power from them and help him cultivate his internal energy. When Xianxia closed his eyes to cultivate, half a year had passed unknowingly. His divine sense sea world had undergone a tremendous change. There was previously only a small island, but now there were only a few. All of the souls that he had devoured had been completely refined by him. At this moment, he could feel that there was something condensing within his own soul essence. Is it a ball of fire? Could it be that my innate divine ability is related to flames? Xianxia was overjoyed, because this matched a few of his guesses. If this innate ability was related to flames, then it meant that his flames would become very strong. He was very satisfied with this innate ability. The internal energy of the soul slowly formed into a burning red sphere, located in the dantian of the soul. Has my soul become an emperor soul? That soul essence? What is my innate divine ability? Although Xianxia felt that his own soul had become much stronger, in other aspects, there didn't seem to be much of a change, so he had already opened his glasses. Long Xue anxiously said, I've been waiting for you. Did you manage to cultivate an emperor soul for a long time? How long have you been waiting? Xianxia felt as if he had fallen asleep. It's been a year. Long Xue said, hurry and answer my question. I'm not too sure either. I feel like I have cultivated an emperor soul, and I'm not too sure about my innate ability. How do I know? Xianxia asked. First, try and see how strong your divine power is. If your power is many times stronger than before, that will mean that you have already developed a soul. Long Xue said. Xianxia sat cross-legged inside the cave, looked at the ceiling, then channeled his god power and punched upwards. When he used the god power, he already felt that vast amount of god power unceasingly appearing in his body and rushing out from his arms. With only a dull quaking sound, the mountain he was on disappeared, leaving behind only an extremely terrifying heat wave. The Azure Dragon in the distance hastily rushed over with a surprised face. He clicked his tongue and said, such powerful godly strength. He melted this mountain in one go. Just now, Xianxia had only tested the power within the soul essence, and he found that it had such an effect. What surprised him the most was that he could feel the remnant energy in the air. It was the energy contained within the mountain that he had broken down with his previous punch. He released his god power to gather the energy that he felt. In just an instant, that large amount of energy gathered together and turned into a small glowing particle, which had already condensed into a very small pellet. As expected, it has a lot to do with my cultivation technique. Xianxia looked at the floating grain, and his heart was in ecstasy. So that means, if I use my innate divine ability, I might be able to concoct a holy pellet very quickly. The green dragon frowned. He is your innate ability? Is different from the Dan Emperor? Xianxia asked anxiously. I heard that Dan Emperor can condense pills out of thin air. What is the situation like? Dan Emperor condensing a core out of nowhere is only limited to places where the energy is relatively abundant, where it can instantly condense the energy into a pill. However, you seem to be able to quickly dissolve all kinds of naturally formed things, and then quickly condense the energy into pills. Xianxia asked, Senior, then what is your innate ability? The Azure Dragon laughed and said, Your innate ability still needs to be excavated. Otherwise, you would not be able to know its true function. You should try again. The innate ability has all kinds of strange abilities. Your innate ability might not only be this way. The Azure Dragon avoided Xianxia's question. As Long Shui had said before, the Azure Dragon had always been concealing its innate ability. Long Shui had always been curious, and now Xianxia was the same. However, if the Azure Dragon did not say, they could not do anything. You have cultivated an Emperor soul. It is about time for you to leave, the Azure Dragon asked. Amen, but I still want to stay here for a while. I will first go find Yang Yan and see if he has anything that he wants from the God's realm. Xianxia had previously planned to possess an Emperor soul and leave this place after the divine vessel was completed. Then the Suzaku Bao should have been successfully refined. See what happens when the four symbols divine weapons gets together. The Azure Dragon said with a smile. This is a mystery that has been bothering me for many years. Long Shui scoffed. Your innate ability has also curious me for many years. Little girl, can you not talk about this? The Azure Dragon was very afraid that others would ask him about his innate divine ability. I also haven't asked you about your innate divine ability, have I? But you have already guessed what my innate ability is. Long Shui muttered. So this is very unfair. Now that we are prepared to solve the mystery of the four symbols divine weapons and satisfy your curiosity, why can't you satisfy our curiosity a little? The Azure Dragon sighed. Actually, my innate ability is nothing. It's just a bit special. He must be very powerful. Long Shui had already come out of the quiet dragon ring and was holding a large fiery red bow with carvings of the vermilion bird on it. The bow was giving off waves of red light. It was the Suzaku bow. The green dragon shook his head. My innate ability is very weak. This is also the reason why I don't want others to know about it. After the green dragon spoke, rain suddenly began to fall from the sky. He bitterly smiled and said, Look, this is my innate ability. It's just rain. It's not bad at all. Long Shui's mouth was agape. She was stunned. Her expression filled with disbelief. She suddenly wanted to laugh, but she still had a bit of conscience, and kept it in. Actually, old Cyan Bug, you don't have to be discouraged. You should cultivate the second divine deity and the second divine soul. That way you'll have the second innate ability. Or you should dig deeper into your innate ability. Long Shui consoled. The green dragon replied, Little girl, you must want to laugh. However, since you were able to console me, I'm quite happy. It's rare for you to have such a kind heart. Not only did you not laugh at me, you even comforted me. Actually, I have also been excavating the power of my martial spirit's ability. In addition to rain, I have another ability, and that is to merge the spirit liquid into the rain. This way, the plants that I've watered will grow very well. Xianxia said, So you're saying this ability is not suitable for you? What is the reason for this? The green dragon shook his head and said, I'm not too sure either. In short, I'm a tragedy. As for cultivating the second divine deity, second divine soul and second life ability, that is simply too far away. Because it's too difficult, I have tried it before. His innate divine ability could not be changed or given up. If it was inappropriate, he could only appoint someone else to it. Xianxia's innate ability could only display a small portion of his abilities right now. He still had to excavate it to know if he had any other abilities. Besides being able to quickly refine things, do you have any other abilities? You can release the energy within your soul energy right now to take a look. The green dragon said. Xianxia channeled the energy of the soul inside his soul, absorbing a bit of the red mist from the fiery red bead, fusing it with the divine power, and then releasing it from his palm. It was a ball of flame. This flame was strange because Xianxia did not summon the power of the fire soul within his body to actually be able to release flames as well. What a strange flame. It's not scalding, and it even contains life force. Could it be that this is that type of flame? Then, he took out a seed and threw it into the flames on Xianxia's palm. Do you need to expend your divine power to release the flames? The azure dragon carefully observed the seed that was being burned by the strange flame in Xianxia's palm. I need it, but I don't need it much. If I use more divine power, the flame will become a gush of gas and I can refine some things in an instant, just like before. Just as Xianxia finished speaking, he saw the seed in the center of his palm crack. Under the burning of the flames, it actually sprouted. It really is this kind of flame, the green dragon said in surprise. This is a Chuangzhao fire. What kind of flame is this? Is there any difference between that and fire of chaos? Xianxia was also very surprised in his heart. Not only did the fire not burn the seed down, it had also let the seed sprout. There is a saying that the Chuangzhao fire is a fire of chaos. Back then, even if all sorts of things were burned out, I still do not know the specifics. When you use Chuangzhao fire S, you can let the seed germinate when the temperature is very low. If the temperature is too high, you can refine the seed into energy. It should be like that. The azure dragon nodded his head. This innate ability of yours is also very powerful. It will be of great help to you in refining pills. As for the innate divine ability, if it can be kept a secret, it would be best to not let anyone else know about it. Long Shui said. Quickly use it to try and see if it's really helpful. Xianxia immediately took out his pill furnace. I will refine a 9th level immortal stage Tianshan Dan right now. Xianxia took out the Tianhun fruit that looked like bubbles and placed it inside the furnace. Previously, when he was refining the Tianhun fruit, he needed to use a very strong divine power and flames to refine it. Refining one furnace used up all of his divine power, but now that he had cultivated the Emperor's soul and obtained his innate ability to create flames, he felt that he would definitely refine it even faster. Once, Qinglong looked at Xianxia concocting pills. He concentrated and released his divine power to sense the changes in the furnace. Xianxia activated the special power inside his soul essence, using his innate ability to release that kind of Chuangzhao fire, and it was the strong type. Of course, he wouldn't be so naive to think that this kind of flame could directly refine Tianhun fruit S. After all, Tianhun fruit S weren't normal flowers and plants. So he combined it with the heavenly alchemy's limitless god purification and used this technique to refine it. If it was before, Xianxia would release a Taiji array at the bottom of the pill furnace to restrict the strength of the Tianhun fruit. Now that he was using the Chuangzhao fire to burn it, coupled with the heavenly alchemy, even if the Tianhun fruit released its defensive power, the effect of the energy wasn't too great, and was being slowly decomposed and refined by Xianxia's creative power. When Xianxia saw that his innate ability was extremely useful in refining pills, he was ecstatic. Although he could only refine Tianhun fruit a little, but this was because the Chuangzhao fire he used was not strong enough. He immediately increased the intensity of the fire and continued to burn the Tianhun fruit. Right now, the Tianhun fruit only needed to release some of their defensive power. It would just be refined and decomposed by the Chuangzhao fire, and the pure medicine aura would rush up to the upper level of the pill furnace. The refining speed was not very fast, but the process was very easy, and was not as tiring as the previous method, but now he still needed a bit of skill. He realized that the Tianhun fruit would consciously give up on resisting, and if his firepower was too strong, he would exterminate a large number of medicine aura, so he had to be very careful. The resistance strength of Tianhun fruit S would sometimes weaken, sometimes increase, or sometimes not even resist. After a period of time, they would resist again. Because it was his first time using his innate ability to refine pellets, Xianxia was extra careful and used quite a bit of time. However, just like before, he only needed more than 2 hours to refine a batch of Tianxin Danes. Previously, when he forged a cauldron of pills, his spirit energy was depleted. However, at this moment, he felt as though he hadn't expended much spirit energy at all. With his current strength, using the same old method would also consume a lot of energy. From this, it could be seen that his innate ability allowed him to concoct pills faster. 10 Tianxin Dan in one pot. The Azure Dragon exclaimed, "Truly powerful. If you could refine a sacred pill at such a speed and in such quantity, what would happen?" Xianxia chuckled. "I will be able to concoct a holy pellet soon. I can take a look when the time comes, but the quantity of holy pellets that come out won't be that great." Previously, he was unable to refine a holy pellet because he did not cultivate an emperor soul and did not have enough divine power to support his flames. But now that he had cultivated an emperor soul and there was an extremely abnormal Chuangzhou fire, his confidence increased exponentially. You have quite a few holy-level medicinal ingredients on your hands. You can refine holy elixirs in one of them. Although it is the lowest grade holy elixir, its effects are much better than eating the medicinal ingredients directly. Long Shui said, "What pill do you plan to refine first?" "I plan to first use blood ginseng to refine pills and refine them into dragon blood St. Dan. This kind of pill can strengthen the body and has a lot of uses. It is also very marketable." Xianxia laughed. "At that time, we can also give it to elder sister Menger and the others to eat." The green dragon asked, "Can I watch you refine pills? I want to witness the birth of a pill saint." Xianxia laughed. "Of course not. Just like this." Xianxia did not enter the secret room of the cave and planned to concoct pills outside. "What about the Suzaku Bao? Isn't it to test what will happen when 4 symbols divine weapons is together?" Long Shui was still holding onto the Suzaku Bao. The green dragon looked at the blood ginseng in Xianxia's hands and pondered for a moment. Then he smiled and said, "Let's take a look at this kid refining the holy pellet first. I see that he is even more anxious to refine the holy pellet." Long Shui said, "I don't care, but it will take me a long time to concoct the holy pellet." Xianxia took a deep breath, adjusted himself, and checked if the blood ginseng was in good condition or not, and if it had any flaws. In order to strengthen his body, Xianxia had previously eaten a large amount of blood ginseng. He understood blood ginseng very well, and this was one of the reasons why he chose to refine blood ginseng first. The strength of the blood ginseng is very strong, very arrogant, and very explosive. Let me see. If I don't use my innate divine ability, will I be able to suppress it? Although Xianxia's ability was useful in refining pills, he did not plan to use it first when he was refining new pills, because it would cause him to rely more on his ability, and thus reduce the proactive nature of his heavenly alchemy. He felt that if he could master the heavenly alchemy better with his innate ability, he would be able to have a smoother time when refining pills. He would not forget his basic skills, he had to master it firmly, and only then would he be able to become stronger. Due to Xianxia's understanding of the effects of blood ginseng, he used the Tai Chi God purification from the very beginning. He first released a Taiji array under the pill furnace to restrict the berserk power released by the blood ginseng. When the blood ginseng encountered the burning rainbow sacred flame, it immediately released a dense red blood chi, causing the pill furnace to tremble for a moment. The blood chi suddenly exploded like a storm, wanting to destroy the multicolored sacred flame. Although the green dragon did not personally see it, he could sense the situation inside the pill furnace. He wanted to see how Xianxia was going to solve this problem. Freeze! Xianxia used more god power on the Taiji array, causing it to spin, creating a suction force that sucked the berserk blood chi back, wrapping around the blood ginseng. The Taiji array was spinning very quickly, and every second, it would spin around dozens of rounds, producing a very strong suction force. At this moment, even if the blood ginseng was constantly releasing blood qi, the blood qi was still absorbed by the taiji array the moment it came out, spinning around it. Then, it was slowly refined by the 7-colored sacred flame Xianxia released. Blood ginseng S were even more difficult to deal with than Tianhun fruit S. The inside of Tianhun fruit S only possessed a unique divine power, and blood ginseng S did not only have a unique divine power, the blood energy inside also carried the same kind of power as when they were released. He's here. Xianxia suddenly felt that the blood ginseng had shrunk a little, and then suddenly swelled up and actually knew how to circulate energy. Xianxia anxiously increased the strength of the taiji array, while the blood ginseng also suddenly spat out an even denser blood mist. It was as if a large amount of blood suddenly exploded inside the furnace. Fortunately, Xianxia had prepared in advance to strengthen the taiji array, absorbing all the blood energy that came out to prevent it from erupting. Otherwise, even the Yanlong furnace would have been injured. After Xianxia had refined it for 4 hours, the blood ginseng had already become the size of a thumb. All of the blood qi inside the blood ginseng had been refined by Xianxia, and the blood ginseng would erupt 13 times in all. Very quickly, the last bit of blood ginseng no longer had any fighting strength, and was very easily refined by Xianxia using the rainbow sacred flame. A single blood ginseng had already been completely refined. Seeing Xianxia reach this stage so quickly, the green dragon was extremely shocked in his heart. This was because Xianxia had just started refining holy pellets, and had reached this stage so quickly. Although he did not know many pill saints, he knew a few of them. When he talked to the pill saints about how difficult it was to refine holy pellets just now, he even said that it was difficult to make a breakthrough, and only after many failures could he succeed. However, right now he had personally witnessed Xianxia refining this blood ginseng with his own eyes, and it could be said that everything went smoothly. However, he was very clear that Xianxia's own skill was indeed very high, and his pill refining skills were also different from other pill saints. Right now, Xianxia had not succeeded in condensing a core yet, but the green dragon already knew that Xianxia was not far from success. For many alchemists, every stage was extremely difficult, but for Xianxia, refining a ring in the middle was the most difficult. The azure dragon could also tell, especially that Xianxia's ingenious method of handling the blood ginseng's violent spouting of power more than a dozen times would definitely be able to solve the problem of the final condensing of the core. Old Cyan Bug, are you scared? I'm already used to it. You haven't seen the most shocking thing about this little scoundrel when he was refining pills. Long Shui laughed. What scene? Although the azure dragon did not see the interior of the pill furnace, he was already very shocked. When he was controlling dozens or hundreds of pill furnaces at the same time, or when he used heavenly alchemy to refine all of the giant mountains within 5,000 kilometers into pills, and he refines people too. Long Shui thought that Xianxia was extremely terrifying. He had all sorts of training methods. The azure dragon replied, "That powerful? When there's a chance, we must definitely broaden our horizons." Back then, although sure this guy cultivated the heavenly alchemy, he did not use it for official business, and it was truly a waste of a heaven's gift. The other reason why Xianxia's refining skills were so terrifying was because he had cultivated the heavenly alchemy and at the same time, used the philosophic stone to comprehend the profound arts inside, and learned many different refining methods from them. Even back then, even Qi was unable to comprehend much from it. This was also the reason why the Hell Devil Emperor was willing to sacrifice everything to capture Xianxia. But even if he had to sacrifice everything, Xianxia would still be able to live a good life. Old Cyan Bug, let's guess. How many dragon blood St. Dan can this kid condense? Long Shui laughed. Well, under normal circumstances, a cauldron of divine pellets would normally be used, but when this little demon refined Tianshandan, he used a cauldron of 10, so I cannot use common sense to judge. The azure dragon thought for a moment. I think that if he were to refine this holy elixir, he should be able to condense 2 pellets. The azure dragon had been in God's realm for such a long time. He had heard of the powerful sacred pills there. It could be used to refine high-level sacred pills, but only a few alchemists could refine low-level sacred pills. Long Shui laughed. I think it's 3 pills. The green dragon frowned. How is that possible? I have seen Dragon Blood Saint Dan before. To be able to refine a high-quality blood ginseng into 2 high-quality Dragon Blood Saint Dan, that should be the limit. Furthermore, the pill saints that I have seen did not lose many medicine aura when they were refining the pills. You don't understand. If we didn't lose much, we would have lost more. Long Shui laughed and said, but Xianxia can make full use of it. And when he uses fire, he also has some mysterious method to surpass his limits. In your eyes, forming 2 holy pellets is the limit, but with Xianxia, the limit might be 3 or 5 or even 6. Long Shui said. The refining techniques he comprehended from the heavenly alchemy were different from others. The green dragon shook his head. Even if it's the limit, there is still a limit. Blood ginsengs are only so little. To be able to refine blood ginseng into a pellet is already not bad. After a blood ginseng refines a pellet, its effect is about 10 times that of the original. If 2 pellets is 20 times, I can accept that. But the 3 pills, that has already far surpassed the value of the blood ginseng itself. It doesn't make sense at all. Betting or not? Long Shui laughed. Nope. The green dragon rejected it immediately, although he felt that giving 3 pills was extremely unreasonable, but he had no confidence now because the one refining the pills was Xianxia. Xianxia opened his eyes and smiled. Fortunately, Senior did not gamble. Otherwise, you would definitely have lost. The green dragon and Long Shui were arguing just now, so he did not pay attention to the situation inside the pill furnace. But now, he hurriedly used his divine power to sense around, only to discover that there were 3 cyclones inside the pill furnace. This caused the green dragon to immediately take a deep breath. From his heaven-defying pill refining skills, he could see Xianxia's future prospects, and might very well surpass him. Long Shui patted the azure dragon's shoulder, and laughed complacently. Now you know how powerful my man is, so don't worry, we can get you guys out of here soon. You just have to wait patiently. The azure dragon admitted that as long as Xianxia could go to the god's realm, and not be suppressed by powerful forces and rely on the alive-slain method to copy the medicinal ingredients and sell the holy elixir, he would be able to earn a lot of money very quickly. When you were refining pills, did you use the alive-slain method? The azure dragon asked. He felt that this was the only possibility. It's been used. Alive-slain method already has a strange ability. It can copy some things that contain spirit energy. When I am refining, I will use the profound methods in the alive-slain method to copy a few medicine aura that are lacking, but this has a very high requirement on my divine power. I need to grasp them very accurately, otherwise it will be very easy to failure. Xianxia nodded his head and said, this is only what I have figured out just now. The alive-slain method is also as profound as the heavenly alchemy. Sure enough, the azure dragon finally solved a mystery. It seems that even if I have the time, I still have to study those profound techniques. Otherwise, I will definitely be able to shake off a youngster like you. Xianxia had already completed condensing the pill and opened the pill furnace. A red light shone and a faint fishy smell floated in the air. It was not the comfortable medicinal smell like before, but a normal phenomenon of dragon blood Saint Dan. The quality is quite good, the azure dragon knew with a sniff. Xianxia took out 3 bright red pills from the furnace. His usually calm self couldn't help but become excited, his hands trembling, because he had refined the holy pellet. To cultivate the emperor's soul and refine the sacred pills, this was his previous goal. Now that he had achieved everything, he felt that he could go back. Senior, do you want to try it? Xianxia laughed. No need. Let's just give it to those few girls. It's more useful to them. They have the dragon blood Saint Dan that you refined, so when they cultivate the body, they don't have to work as hard as you. Their bodies could grow stronger and endure stronger flames. At that time, the flames would also be able to rise as well. For a refiner, it's really impossible for the flame to be insufficient. The green dragon said. Lu Menger and the other girls were very talented in smithing. Although their strength was not very strong, they were already close to the level of divine craftsmen in the past. Xianxia nodded. Thank you, Senior, for showing concern for them. The azure dragon laughed out loud. We can now start to get involved with the 4 symbols divine weapons and see what secrets are hidden inside. Let's see if it's like what little girl Dongfang guessed. That this 4 symbols divine weapons has even stronger divine weapons. Long Shui threw the Suzaku Bao to Xianxia. After Xianxia received it, before he could drip his blood to recognize it as its master, the Suzaku Bao had already started trembling, releasing waves of intense flames. There's a reaction. Xianxia immediately dripped blood into the Suzaku Bao, then activated the Vermilion Bird Divine Arts and fused with it. Feeling that he had fused with the Suzaku Bao, Xianxia suddenly felt the other 3 divine weapons inside his body appear. The Slaughter God's hand appeared in his hands, the Green Dragon Demon-Slain Broadsword appeared in his right hand, and the dazzling Profoundwood Diamond Armor wrapped around his body. His left hand held a bow and his right hand held a saber. Both divine weapons were emitting an intense glow that pierced the eyes. Xianxia fused with the connection between the 4 symbols divine weapons S, causing the 4 symbols divine weapons to become even brighter. The multicolored light emitted by the 4 symbols divine weapons did not last long, and gradually dimmed down as Xianxia continued to let the 4 symbols divine weapons merge with him. After the strong light disappeared, the Green Dragon Demon-Slain Broadsword in Xianxia's hand changed. It was no longer as big as before, it had shrunk down a lot, and its shape also changed a lot. On the original Psi and colored blade, a faint golden light appeared in the middle, with a golden dragon engraved on it. There was a pale silver halo around the handle of the saber, with a white dragon coiling around it. The Profoundwood Diamond Armor was originally glowing gold, but now it had turned deep red and mixed with some black, making it look even more low-key. It was not that stiff, just like a set of clothes that were slightly harder to wear. The originally white hands of the killer had now turned into black gloves, revealing the fingers. The Suzaku Bao, on the other hand, was no longer flickering with red light like it was before. What's going on? How come the 4 symbols divine weapons looks like a whole new level? The Green Dragon said. It doesn't look as good as it did before, but in this way it looks very ordinary and not bad at all. Long Shui circled around Xianxia, looking at the set of Profoundwood Diamond Armor on his body. It didn't look like armor at all. Instead, it looked like an old set of clothes. Xianxia said, "What you all have seen were only illusions, and this is the most ancient set of 4 symbols divine weapons. Back then, when I came to this set of 4 symbols divine weapons, I did not consider its appearance, so it was not eye-catching. But it was very strong. I can feel it now." The Azure Dragon said in shock, "I didn't expect those girls to have guessed correctly, and also have an ancient 4 symbols divine weapons. In that case, this incomplete 4 symbols divine weapons of yours has hidden clues about the ancient divine weapon." Xianxia nodded. "They are all in the God's realm. I know where they are, and I'm in different places. Moreover, I feel like there's something hidden inside that set of ancient 4 symbols divine weapons S." Long Shui laughed and said, "Old Cyan Bug, in the ancient God's realm, there might also be an Azure Dragon. Maybe it has something to do with you." "Hard to say. My Azure Dragon is unique. If there had been an Azure Dragon back then I would have had a previous life." "Then what about my previous life's memories?" The Green Dragon frowned and said, "Xianxia, if you can you help me go to the 9 Heaven Devil Palace to find some clues? I feel that there are a lot of secrets hidden there." Xianxia nodded. "No problem. Before I enter the God's realm, I will definitely go there and investigate. I believe that I have the strength to come out. I want to know too, do I also have a past life? Back then, we were the same batch of Saint Beasts." Long Shui said, "There's also the big white cat, vermilion bird, black tortoise, and the other ancient holy beasts." Xianxia had broken the connection between the 4 symbols divine weapons and the 4 symbols divine weapons, so the 4 symbols divine weapons in his body returned to its original state. At this time, Lu Menger's voice sounded out, "Senior Azure Dragon, if you truly had a previous life, perhaps you would be able to awaken the memories of your previous life." Long Shui said, "That's right. When I have time, I want to see whether or not the sealed memories of my previous life are hidden deep within my soul." The Azure Dragon nodded. "I will definitely try it out in the future." Xiang gave the 3 pellets he refined to Lu Menger and Xianxia. The 2 of them did not have any bloodline inheritance, so their bodies were relatively weak. I'm about to leave too, but I still have something to do before I leave. He wanted to find Yufan. Although he had obtained Peng Rinni's divine deity from Yufan, if Yufan wanted to kill him, he would not let this matter rest. As for Yang Yan, he had asked Yang Yan to buy the necessary holy-level medicinal herbs from the God's realm, so he wanted to see if Yang Yan had managed to get any. Xiang quickly arrived at the hotel that belonged to Yang Yan in the Wind-Eye City. Yang Yan was still as passionate as before, but when he saw Xiang's arrival, he quickly greeted him warmly. It seems like you've become a little stronger. Although Yang Yan could not sense the change in Xiang's strength from the aura, he could still make out some of it from the pair of eyes that had a confident light in them. The reason why I've been in seclusion for so long is for the sake of breaking through. Xiang laughed. Big brother Yang, have you gone to God's realm yet? Yang Yan poured a cup of wine for Xiang and said, I've been there once. I've brought the thing that you wanted. Yang Yan took out 3 jade boxes and introduced the contents of the boxes as he opened them. This is the sacred flame fruit, an inferior grade holy elixir. This is the holy ice flower, and also an inferior grade holy elixir. The last one is a Saint Origin Qi Ginseng. It's mainly used to strengthen the soul. Not to mention those rare items, they are all low-grade holy medicines. As for medium-grade and high-grade holy medicines, they are also available. They are fairly expensive and will take a period of time to obtain. I have traveled to and from the God's realm and have a time limit, so I can only obtain low-grade holy medicines. Yang Yan's face looked a little ashamed, because he felt that he could only get things of this level, and he really let Xiang down. However, for Xiang, the low-rank holy elixir was already very good. All of these could be refined into a holy pellet, and they were also extremely useful for people like Lu Menger and the others who cultivated both fire and ice. It's fine, it's very good for me. How much is that? Xiang asked. This is my gift to you. Please don't raise the spirit money with me. Yang Yan anxiously made a gesture to stop Xiang from continuing to raise his spirit money. Xiang laughed and hastily toasted to Yang Yan. When I went back to the God's realm, I asked around too. The penalty heavenly God is powerful indeed. She was able to withstand the pressure from the Hell Divine Palace and the War God Shrine and not punish you. This is good news but also bad news. As Yang Yan spoke of the bad news, the smile on his face suddenly disappeared. This made Xiang a little nervous and hurried him. What bad news? Is it against me? Yang Yan nodded his head. It is indeed disadvantageous for you, but at the moment, it is not a threat to you at all. If it continues, it will be hard to say, because you do not know how long you will have to stay here before you can leave. What do you mean? With the help of the Azure Dragon, Xiang could leave any time he wanted. Hell Devil Emperor is preparing to send down a new batch of war gods and profound god. He used a lot of divine money before, and now he doesn't have much either, but he has promised that as long as you send your divine soul to hell, he will have a way to get the heavenly alchemy from you. After that, he will share the heavenly alchemy with the gods who cooperate with him. In the God's realm, the heavenly alchemy is something that many heavenly gods would want to obtain, especially those divine halls that have a large amount of holy-level medicinal herbs. If they have the heavenly alchemy, it would be able to raise the level of their alchemistess. Yang Yan drank a cup of wine and continued. The other gods are also considering this. Even the Wealth Divine Palace's God of Fortune has such considerations. If the God of Fortune joins in, Yang Yan did not say anything further. He knew that Xiang would understand what the consequences would be. The God of Fortune is your martial ancestor. You revealed the secret to me. Aren't you afraid that he will blame you? Xiang laughed, without a trace of nervousness, making Yang Yan secretly admire him in his heart. But I've never seen him before, so I still have some feelings for him. Furthermore, my brand was made by the God of Light. It has nothing to do with the God of Fortune. Yang Yan said. Xiang suddenly had a feeling that the relationship between the brilliant God and the God of Fortune might not be very good, even though they were master and disciple. Xiang, your current situation is very dangerous. If the god of fortune is also involved with his financial resources, he can make over 100 profound god come here. When the time comes, the Azure Dragon will definitely not be able to resist, and you will also be in danger. Yang Yan was extremely worried for Xianxia. Did you know? I'm going to penalty Heavenly God to ask about the price you paid to leave this place. How much? Logically speaking, I shouldn't have left. Xianxia replied, I killed 2 fellows, so I should be sent to hell. If you were a prisoner here, then you would have long since gone to hell. However, you only entered here by accident, and the people you killed were all at a much higher cultivation level than you, so the Heaven's Punishment Palace made it a crime for you to protect yourself. However, this is only because you killed 2 war gods. If you want to leave, you have to pay 200 million spirit stones. Previously, Yang Yan thought that the 2 war gods were killed by the Azure Dragon, but he didn't expect that it was actually Xianxia. However, he also guessed that it was definitely the Azure Dragon that had captured the 2 Ares and then handed them to Xianxia to kill. He was extremely curious about how Xianxia had actually killed that powerful war god. At least, he couldn't do it even if war god didn't have any fighting strength. Xianxia smiled mysteriously. You don't have to worry. I have other ways of getting out. Upon hearing his words, Yang Yan immediately laughed. So that's how it is. You caused me to worry so much that I had to die. Xianxia smiled and punished himself for 3 cups of wine before saying, I plan to kill you Fan before I leave. This guy almost caused my death. I can't let him be so carefree. Oh right, I got a set of divine deity from him. Xianxia laughed out loud as he heard Xianxia's story of him lying to you Fan. After Yang Yan finished laughing, he said, It's not easy for you to get rid of him. He's protected by the penalty Heavenly God, and the moment he encounters any danger, the penalty Heavenly God will immediately appear. As long as the penalty Heavenly God appears, you'll also be in a lot of trouble. It was extremely difficult to kill you Fan, not because his strength was lacking, but because of the penalty Heavenly God. Furthermore, a large portion of you Fan's strength was sealed. Making killing was much easier. Xianxia said, Let me think again. I will definitely think of a good way. Next, I will feign to help him hunt divine deity. If I am unable to think of a way in a short period of time, I will leave this place. Yang Yan nodded. Then it's best if you don't come see me too often. It's not good for you Fan to discover me, and if you leave at that time, there's no need to say your goodbyes anymore. I believe we can reunite in God's realm. Then let's drink to our heart's content today. The 2 of them drank until deep into the night. Xianxia rushed to Yu Fan's residence without stopping. When Yu Fan saw that Xianxia had arrived, the doubt in his heart had already been dispelled. Lord Yu, thank you for the divine deity. I have successfully condensed my soul essence. Xianxia revealed an extremely grateful expression. I've made you wait for a long time. Yu Fan nodded his head, then sent a sound transmission to Xianxia. I have long since helped you find a target. That guy's name is Jin Yang. Yu Fan tapped the center of Xianxia's brows with his finger, transmitting the details of Jin Yang to Xianxia's mind. This fellow is quite formidable. He might need some time. When Xianxia heard Jin Yang's detailed information, he already had a plan in mind. As soon as possible, Yu Fan nodded. Xianxia was immediately powerful. Yu Fan frowned as he looked at Xianxia's message and sighed, because he could only rely on the god of fortune to work together with the Hell Devil Emperor, and at that time, Xianxia would definitely be done for, and that was why he got Xianxia to help him hunt divine deity as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would not have the chance to do so in the future. This guy thinks you're dead for sure again. But he's not stupid and wants you to kill someone like Yang Yan. Long Shui laughed. If he wants me to send myself to my death, then his losses will be great, because he has already used a divine deity on me. Furthermore, he has also given me many benefits, but it is not like he will lose money. As long as I help him get a set of divine deity, he can make a comeback. Xianxia said, The guy who went to kill was not very strong, but he was very fierce and had been expelled by many cities. Although Jin Yang did not kill anyone, he liked to beat people up. Because Jin Yang was forbidden from entering the city, he could only stay in the outer parts of the mountains. The place Xianxia wanted to go to right now was the very mountain where Jingyang frequently visited. Have you decided how to kill you, Fan? Long Shui asked. It's best for you to leave quickly. If the god of fortune decides to join in, then there will be a huge problem. I have already thought about it, but I will need the help of elder sister Menger and the others. Xianxia left the city, and after confirming that no one was following them, he released the Azure Dragon Cloak. What do you need our help for? Lu Menger asked. We don't know how to kill people. I'm good at it, but I'm not strong enough for now. Lung Yulan shouted excitedly. I'm not asking you to kill someone. It's time for you to make something for me. Xianxia stood on top of a tall mountain and released his divine power to search for Jingyang. Xianxia said, You want us to refine a fake divine deity to trick you, Fan? Xianxia laughed. I guessed half right. I want you all to refine a piece of true divine deity and explode it within a set amount of time and blast you, Fan, to death. This is not easy to refine. You are an alchemist and you even refined those destructive ice sealdan. You should be more skilled at it. Dongfang Xinyue said. When the time comes, Yu Fan will definitely hide his divine deity inside the divine sense sea, completely isolating himself from the outside world. I remember that there is a method to refine divine deity into an offensive treasure in that divine book. Think about it again carefully and see if there is one that can explode at a fixed time. Xianxia quickly located Jin Yang's location. All right, let's temporarily suspend the refining of the divine vessel and go read the divine book first. Lu Menger said. Xianxia used the Azure Dragon Cloak and instantly appeared behind Jingyang. This Jingyang had a delicate and handsome appearance. One couldn't tell that he was a notorious violent madman. It was said that those that had been beaten by him would be crippled. Since he didn't kill anyone, he wouldn't go to hell. Jingyang had also cultivated Emperor Soul, which could be considered a demigod just like Xianxia. Seeing that Xianxia had suddenly appeared in front of him, Jingyang did not say a word, took out a huge rod, and smashed fiercely towards Xianxia. His pretty face turned sinister, as if he wanted to smash Xianxia into a meat patty. Jin Yang's rod fiercely smashed into Xianxia's body, smashing half of his body into smithereens. You overestimate yourself. Jin Yang looked at Xianxia, who had half of his body smashed away, and snorted coldly. However, what he did not know was that the one that was smashed apart by Xianxia just now was an illusion created by the spell Xianxia released. The real Xianxia was at a high mountain in the distance, pulling open the Suzaku bow's profound bow, and a silver-white arrow suddenly appeared on it. Let's test the strength of the Suzaku bow. The bow that Xianxia formed used a large amount of divine power, along with the power of his soul force's innate ability. The golden sun walked towards the illusion and was about to kick the Suzaku bow. The Suzaku bow's bow shook, and with a swoosh, the silver-white bow arrow pierced through Jin Yang's body and exploded inside him in the blink of an eye. Jin Yang howled in pain as he looked down at the gaping hole in his stomach. So strong! Xianxia heaved a sigh of relief, but that arrow just now had consumed half of his divine power. Xianxia kept his Suzaku bow and came over to the crazy Jin Yang's back. He summoned his green dragon demon-slain broadsword and chopped his head off, then used soul-absorbing devil spell and devouring magic kung fu to skillfully absorb the divine deity and the divine soul. Isn't this guy pretty good? Xianxia did not expect to succeed so easily. Isn't it all because of the Suzaku bow's power, taking advantage of the moment when the others weren't prepared, attacking from afar, and furthermore, focusing its power on a bow? It would be strange if it wasn't powerful. However, if you were to fight with this guy normally, the amount of divine power you would use up would probably be just a little. Long Shui said. Xianxia placed his divine deity inside the ring, allowing the girls to think of a way to refine it. At this time, he also returned to Bane too. Senior, there is news that is considered good news for you. However, it is also bad news. Xianxia said. What and what? Hurry up and say it. The Azure Dragon did not understand. Hell Devil Emperor intends to cooperate with the other gods. As long as you work with him to kill me, when he obtains the heavenly alchemy, he will share it with the gods. I heard that there are many Empyrean gods who are ready to make a move. Even the god of fortune is thinking the same thing. If the god of fortune also joins, then there will be a lot of profound god and war gods who will come here to deal with me. Xianxia said. This is good news. The Azure Dragon immediately became excited. Come on. Come on. Come practice with me. Xianxia laughed bitterly. The bad news is if I had left, they would not have come. When the green dragon heard Xianxia say that he wanted to leave, he immediately shouted anxiously. Don't leave. Wait for those guys to come. Then I will send you away. This. Xianxia hesitated, then said, what if they have too many people, and you can't handle them? I'm not even afraid. What are you afraid of? They don't dare to kill me either. There's penalty heavenly god watching them. The green dragon grabbed Xianxia's shoulders with both of his hands and started shaking him. Don't be in such a hurry to leave this place. Even if you do me a favor, I'll be even more bored if you leave. Are you sure you don't have to worry? If the god of fortune really joins, then it'll be hard to say for sure. Xianxia was still a little worried. He did not want to kill Azure Dragon. If I say it's fine, then it's fine. You really don't have to worry about me. When the Azure Dragon thought of the large number of profound god war gods, he became extremely excited. All right, when those fellows come, you will immediately send me off. You're not afraid of them. I'm afraid. Xianxia said. Will you be able to send me away then? Of course I can make it in time. I'll be able to get you away soon, so you can rest easy. The Azure Dragon said with a smile. If they really come, then I have a chance for a breakthrough. With these guys here playing with me, I won't feel bored in the future. Xianxia curled his lips. The green dragon actually thought of this as a game. That was a very dangerous thing to do. Upon knowing that the god of fortune might want to join, he started to panic. I'm going to start concocting pills. Xianxia sat down under a tree and took out a blood ginseng. He then continued to refine more dragon blood St. Dan, and when he returned back, he would give some of them to his friends in order to rope them in. It was just that he did not have enough spirit liquid right now, and could not duplicate too many of them. Recalling how he had eaten so many blood ginsengs alive before, Xianxia felt a wave of pity. If he had used all of them to refine dragon blood St. Dan's, he would definitely be able to obtain a lot of them. I can only return to LV Chilean to condense those spirit pearls together. This way, I can quickly obtain a large amount of holy level medicinal herbs. As he thought about how he had an intimate relationship with LV Chilean, Xianxia couldn't help but think back to the past. Elder Sister Menger, when can you refine that divine deity again? Xianxia asked. It would be best to refine it before those war god profound goddess come. I don't want to go crazy together with the Azure Dragon. Let's wait for another 2 to 3 days. This is our first time refining it. We need to be careful. Lu Menger replied. Xianxia only had 3 blood ginseng left, he could only refine 2, and he would need to keep 1 for replication. This time, he successfully refined another batch and obtained 3 dragon blood St. Dan. However, he still did not use his innate ability to refine them. Try using your innate divine ability this time. After Xianxia placed the blood ginseng into the pill furnace, he used the power of the sacred art inside his soul essence to release the creator's fire and poured it into the furnace. After the blood ginseng was burnt by the flame, it immediately erupted into a ball of blood qi, causing the pill furnace to shake non-stop. Xianxia increased the intensity of the big flame, at the same time using the Tai Chi God purification to suppress the resistance released by the blood ginseng. The flames released by his innate ability were extremely powerful, and the speed of the refined blood ginseng was much faster than when he used the rainbow sacred flame. It seems that as long as I use a normal refining method and use this life ability, it will become much easier. Xianxia felt that this furnace refined much faster than the previous 2, and it consumed much less energy. The Saint Revitalizing Pellet should be a mid-tier Saint Pellet. Refining all kinds of holy level S into 1 is extremely difficult. Looks like Feng Yujia's skill in pill refinement is extremely high. Xianxia felt that he couldn't even refine a medial grade holy pellet now. When he thought of Feng Yujia, Xianxia immediately thought of the two that Feng Yujie had adopted as his goddaughter. This made him even more anxious to return. Lu Meng'er, Xianxia and the others already knew that Long Shui and Su Meiyao had told them. I am now a pill saint. Wait until I go to God's realm. I will definitely become a pill god. Xianxia's goal was also higher. He found out from the Azure Dragon that there were not many pill gods in the God's realm. The trembling Yanlong furnace suddenly calmed down. Xianxia's eyes flashed with flames. He clenched his fists and bellowed, "Gather!" The 3 cyclones inside the furnace began to search and quickly formed into pills. The Azure Dragon watched from the side and said, "Is it done?" "It's done. It's a bit faster than the previous 2 batches." Xianxia opened the pill furnace and took out 3 blood-red dragon blood Saint Danes. Although there was a faint smell of blood, it did not make anyone uncomfortable. Using an innate divine ability is different. It's actually so much faster. The green dragon felt surprised. In God's realm, for a normal pill saint to refine this kind of pill, they would need at least a few days. Even the faster ones would be slower than you. Long Shui laughed. You have yet to see anything faster. It's just that his current experience is insufficient. Otherwise, why don't you show him the 100 blood ginseng he has refined so that he can have a look, and at that time, his refining speed will be even more astonishing. What Long Shui said was right. Xianxia was very familiar with this dragon blood Saint Dan. Adding on to the fact that he was using Dewan refining method, he was refining multiple batches at the same time. His speed and quantity of pills being produced would not decrease at all. If I were to use my innate ability to refine low-grade immortal pills, I might not even need a pill furnace. I could just finish it with the palm of my hand. Xianxia laughed. This life ability is really something good, to be able to produce such a magical power. If I could cultivate a second life ability, wouldn't that be even better? Senior, did you see any deities in the God's realm who could cultivate the second life ability? Xianxia asked. He knew that this was not an easy task, because the Azure Dragon did not have a second life ability right now. I've seen them before. Basically, there are Empyrean gods in the divine halls, some are 3rd or 4th, and then this will be used to measure their strength. I heard that the stronger an Empyrean god is, the more divine deity they have. The green dragon sighed. I am also trying to cultivate, but it will be very difficult, unless I can become a super profound god. At that time, as long as I can cultivate the second divine deity, I can become a god. This is a very distant matter, you'd better not think too much about it. Come one step at a time. Xianxia nodded and asked, Senior, when the time comes, how will you send me out? The time in this place is very chaotic. I have my ways. As long as you are not a true god, I can send you out. Didn't the vermilion bird have the same cultivation as you before, so I also gave her out? The Azure Dragon said with a smile, You don't have to worry. When you send me out, you will definitely consume a lot of energy. How can you withstand the profound god and war god who are surrounding and attacking you? Xianxia remembered that the Azure Dragon had said before that it would take a lot of energy to send him out of the divine prison. The green dragon told Xianxia not to think too much. Although he was confident that he could handle it, Xianxia was still worried. Xianxia stayed there for a few days. Lu Meng'er and the other girls also finished refining the divine deity. Right now, those profound goddess and war gods have yet to come down. It's not like I can't leave this place too quickly and kill you, Fan. I'm afraid the penalty heavenly god will appear. Xianxia looked at the divine deity in his hands and became a little hesitant. This divine deity will explode in 5 days. Even if placed inside the storage magic treasure, it will still explode out. The main reason is because it will detonate the powerful energy contained within the divine deity. So you only have 5 days. Xianxia said. When the time comes, I will ask Grandfather Azure Dragon and see if penalty heavenly god knows about this. It would also be against the rules for you Fan to hunt divine deity here, so he deserves to be killed. The green dragon said, It's fine, as long as you don't do it yourself. There's nothing much to say about penalty heavenly god. But at that time it will be a little troublesome. After all, Yufan is someone that God's realm sent down. If Fengshen wants to pursue the matter, it would be hard to say. After Xianxia heard the Azure Dragon's words, he took the divine deity of 10 million Fengshin native bank and went to find Yufan. At least he had earned a set of divine deity now. He was also worried about the that were coming down from God's realm, as he felt that it would be the time of Xianxia's death. Any new targets? Xianxia laughed. This time, progress is more successful. Not at the moment. Wait a little longer. Yufan had thought about it carefully previously and decided not to let Xianxia hunt divine deity for him anymore. Lord Yu, I'm in urgent need of some divine money to purchase a good magical equipment. Can you give me some first? Xianxia also wanted to take this opportunity to earn some money. How much do you need? Yufan asked. $800. The divine money that Xianxia wanted was for Taichung. He promised to help Taichung return to the god's realm, since Taichung had helped him before. I only have 700 for now. Yufan pondered for a moment and gave Xianxia 700 gold. Xianxia left a secret mark here, and he soon found out that Taichung was currently in a small city nearby. After arriving at the small city, Xianxia found Taichung, and without a word, he stuffed the storage bag back to Taichung. There are 700 gold coins in here. That should be enough for you to leave. Xianxia sent a sound transmission to Taichung. I am hiding behind a lot of trouble. Quickly leave. Don't ever let Yufan have his eyes on you. He already wanted to kill me off. Taichung was extremely grateful to Xianxia. He also didn't expect that Xianxia, a person who had just arrived at divine prison, would already have obtained this much divine money to help him leave the divine prison. No need to thank me, farewell. Taichung left very straightforwardly. Watching Taichung leave, Xianxia hoped that he would become stronger in the future when he reached God's realm. It's time to go back. It's safer to stay by Azure Dragon's side. When Xianxia returned to the second calamity, he saw the green dragon standing at the top of the mountain all day with a face full of anticipation, waiting for those profound goddess to come. After Xianxia returned, the green dragon came down from the top. Being locked in this place was indeed very boring. Other than cultivating, he wanted to find some fun. Senior, I'll return this to you. Xianxia handed the green dragon cape to the green dragon. From now on, don't run around. As long as I sense the arrival of those fellows, I will immediately send you away. As long as you are by my side, you will be fine. The green dragon took the cloak. This cloak was also a pretty good divine tool, and Lu Menger and the others had already researched it before. Right now, Xianxia and the others were focused on refining the divine vessel in the ring. To them, the most difficult thing was smelting those top stones. But fortunately Xianxia had bought a divine furnace for them before, so they could be of great use during the smelting process. Furthermore, the green dragon was also injecting a ball of fire into the ring, so they only needed to control the flame. 3 days had passed, and Xianxia was leaning on a tree and studying the heavenly alchemy. At this time, just as dawn broke, the green dragon cried out in alarm, and suddenly appeared in front of Xianxia. He's here. The green dragon's face was filled with excitement. Brat, we'll be saying our goodbyes like this. Be good to that little girl and don't let her die again. As the green dragon spoke, he released a very powerful dragon god power. The space behind him began to fluctuate. What shocked Xianxia was that he felt a type of power of law from the terrifying dragon god's power of the Azure Dragon. Because he possessed the spatial rule spiritual bead, he was extremely familiar with this kind of power of law, even though it wasn't the same kind of power as himself. It's the time laws. Xianxia was extremely shocked. The green dragon actually grasped the laws of time. No wonder he could send him away from here. Goodbye. After the green dragon finished speaking, he anxiously turned around and threw Xianxia into the spatial tunnel that was opened behind him. Before Xianxia even had the chance to say his goodbyes to the Azure Dragon, he had arrived in a forest filled with purple light. It's the purple leaf forest. I'm back. Xianxia landed on a tree branch and shook off a purple glowing leaf. After the green dragon sent Xianxia away, a ray of rainbow light suddenly appeared above him. Hundreds of profound god wearing different colored sacred armor that emitted different colored rays of light appeared with divine weapons in their hands. Before they had come, they already knew what kind of expert the Azure Dragon was. But now, seeing that the Azure Dragon was only a small old man, they couldn't help but feel disdain in their hearts. You guys are looking for Xianxia, right? He has already left. The Green Dragon laughed. You came here for nothing. You should know that after entering the divine prison for 1 year, you can pay the divine money to leave, which also means you will have to stay here for another year. I am not looking for Xianxia. The mission you guys received was to come here and defeat you, and to cripple you. A large man said coldly. After that man said that, dozens of profound gods stepped forward. We are here to deal with Xianxia. These 100 or so profound gods all carried out different missions. Regardless, you will still have to stay here for a year. The Azure Dragon laughed loudly. This 1 year's time is enough for me to defeat you and cripple you. After the Azure Dragon finished speaking, a great battle immediately broke out. Xianxia returned to the life forest. He was a little worried about the Azure Dragon, but worrying was useless. The Azure Dragon knows the time laws, but he might only have an initial grasp of it. Otherwise, he can definitely leave the divine prison. Xianxia said, Old Cyan Bug is truly powerful. Back then, I was slightly stronger than him. Now, I am truly inferior to him. Long Shui sighed. I might be able to become an Empyrean god in the future. Xianxia looked around. We can go back now, even if a large group of strong of Lord Stage comes to capture me. They won't be able to do anything to me. After returning, Xianxia was able to use the power of the spatial laws. He opened a spatial passageway and returned to Dtion. Is this Dtion? Xianxia exclaimed. Are you in the wrong place? You haven't used the law of space for so long, and you're already unfamiliar with it? Long Shui anxiously said. Even though the place Xianxia resided was a forest, the concentrated Holy Spirit energy here was like the best location among all the endless heaven realms, like a high-grade holy stone mine. Xianxia could not help but suspect that there was a dragon vein of the holy stone here. That's right, this is Dtion. Xianxia was extremely certain. Could it be that a long time has passed here and then we grew up? Ha! Leng Yulan was a little worried. Then won't we be left behind the others? Yulan, you have my white dragon vein, you don't have to worry about falling behind. With your brother, the Pill Saint, you can quickly surpass me. Long Shui laughed. Xianxia said, This used to be a city, but it is no longer here. How long has it been since Dtion arrived? Xianxia floated high in the sky, and once again opened a spatial passageway. This time, he arrived at an extremely large city. The city where the hundreds of flowers palace used to be has actually become so huge. Xianxia floated in the sky and looked down at the endless buildings below. What a strong defensive array. I can't even use the power of space to break through it. Xianxia was shocked once again. He then landed on the ground and stood in front of the gigantic city gate, looking at the 4 big words, 100 Blossom Holy Nations. How many years has it been? From those 4 words, Xianxia could tell that this place had already been completely occupied by LV Chilean, and that she had even become a true flower emperor. When Xianxia entered the city gates, he needed to explain his identity and background. Moreover, he had previously discovered that there were quite a few disguised people who would be reflected in the huge mirror placed beside the city gates when they entered. Xianxia took out the order badge from the flower emperor and handed it over to the city guard. The guard took a look at it and immediately became respectful towards Xianxia. It's been so long, but this brand is still so useful. Xianxia kept the plate and easily entered the city gate. There were 2 areas. One was the teleportation area of the 100 Blossom Holy Nations, and the other was the teleportation area of the 100 Blossom Holy Nations. Xianxia arrived at the teleportation area and saw the Ice Dragon Holy Nations, Demon-Suppressing Holy Nations, Fire Divine Nations, Holy Ice Nation, Holy Thunder Nation. From those names, he could tell what kind of powers these holy nations were originally. Divine Feather Nation. Feng Yujie is here too. Long Shui said. What happened to Dtion? The power of the Holy Spirit is so dense that even endless heaven realms were left far behind and have all come here brazenly. Xiang said. Could this be one of the 3 water overlords of the sacred water heavenly realm, the floating city? Back then City Lord was a good person. I helped you stop the group of strong of Lord Stage chasing after you. Long Shui said. The Ho clan of one of the 3 water overlords should be that sacred marquee country. She should also be here. Dongfang Xinyue clenched her teeth. She was indeed wanted by the Ho clan at that time. There's also the Supreme Holy Nations, Saint Evil Kingdom. It's good that these guys are here, so I don't have to run around and chase them down. Xiang sneered. Leng Yulan said, Brother, why is there no dragon subduing holy nations? The strength of the dragon subduing school should also be at the top and should be very strong, and should be able to establish a holy nations. But right now, Xiang has yet to find any transmission arrays from the teleportation area that can teleport to the dragon subduing holy nations, and not even near the dragon subduing school. With Duan Ming and Master there, with their strength, they should be very strong now. Dragon subduing school should be fine. Xiang calmed himself down. Furthermore, he would not let the dragon subduing school be destroyed just like Jiangshang and the others. As long as they were there, even if the other holy nations wanted to attack the dragon subduing school, they had to be prepared for a huge battle. The 100-flower Emperor Palace had been expanded to become even more grand and vast than before, and the formation that enveloped the hundreds of flowers palace was even more powerful than before. Divine power was unable to penetrate through, unless he forcefully sent his divine power in. It would definitely be discovered, and he wouldn't be able to enter and leave as he pleased in the past. Who helped her build that formation? It's so powerful. Long Shui also tried it. If she continued to increase her divine power, it would alarm hundreds of flowers palace. The changes were so great. When we left that time, there were no such powerful restrictions. Lu Menger was surprised. How long have we been gone? Xiang also wanted to know the answer, so he held the jade tablet and directly went in through the main entrance of the hundreds of flowers palace. Xiang was brought by a beautiful girl into a living room. The place was filled with fragrance. The decorations were simple and elegant. The flowers and tea were delicious and sweet, causing Xiang to suddenly want to stay there for a while. After arriving at the hundreds of flowers palace, Lu Menger and the others did not come out. They still had to refine the divine ship inside, so they were worried that they would be disturbed after coming out. Xiang, who was enjoying his tea, suddenly sensed a familiar aura. He anxiously turned his head and saw a beauty with short hair that was shoulder to shoulder. Although she looked cute and exquisite, her body had a cold and proud temperament, especially her dignified eyes, making people fear her and not underestimate him just because of her soft body. This woman was LV Chilian's most prized subordinate, Little Lizzie. Little Lizzie. Seeing that Little Lizzie was so powerful, Xiang could not help but exclaim in shock. How did you become so powerful? When Little Lizzie saw that Xiang had changed back to his original appearance, he knew that it was Xiang. She had already known that someone was carrying LV Chilian's secret order to enter hundreds of flowers palace. After seeing Xiang, Little Lizzie's cold and dignified eyes became a little gentler. She had a special kind of complicated feeling towards Xiang, which was hard to put into words, because Xiang had risked his life to save her before, and they were both in her most dangerous moments. Furthermore, Xiang treated her very well, and was also very powerful. Xiang, you're finally back. Little Lizzie anxiously walked in and whispered, "Follow me." Xiang followed behind Little Lizzie as she giggled while staring at her slim back. Little Lizzie was wearing a white tight suit which made her body look curvaceous and curvaceous, especially her perky buttocks. When she walked, Xiang revealed a mischievous smile. Humph! Little Lizzie never thought that Xiang would still be the same as always, teasing her like this. Little Lizzie brought Xiang into a secret room and immediately asked, "Where are Menger and Xianxia? Aren't they with you?" Xiang nodded. "They are together with me. They are doing very well." "How long have I been gone?" "There's been a huge change in Dtian. You've been gone for 5,000 years, and you don't know about it?" Little Lizzie was a little surprised. "What kind of experience did you experience after entering the dark area of the life forest?" He actually doesn't know how time has passed. It's a long story. Xianxia and the few girls were extremely shocked. They did not stay in the divine prison for long, and it had actually been 5,000 years. Where are Qilian and the rest? Are they all right? Xianxia asked. Little Lizzie shook his head. Many things have happened. Asgard Master brought a group of disciples away from the hundreds of flowers palace. Xianxia's heart immediately became anxious. Grabbing onto little Lizzie's shoulder, he asked anxiously, "Where did you go? When did this happen? You don't have to worry too much about what happened 3 years ago," little Lizzie anxiously said, and got rid of Xianxia. "With great Emperor Lu with them, you do not have to worry. Many experts will be there." Hearing that LV Zhen was going with him, Xianxia felt a lot more at ease. "Right? Has there never been a great battle here in the past 5,000 years? Xianxia was a little surprised. So many powerful forces of the endless heaven realm had all come here, but this place was actually so peaceful. It happened once 2,000 years ago. At that time, your dragon subduing school would have been taken down, your evil dragon graveyard would have been destroyed, your dragon subduing school would have disintegrated. Little Lizzie saw Xianxia's expression darken, and said again, "We all have a way to help them." But after Clan Elder Huang made the decision to give up on dragon subduing school, if not, the casualties would be extremely heavy. Xianxia clenched his fist tightly and said coldly, "Who has occupied that dragon vein? The 10 great holy nations built a big holy city there. That place is controlled by the 10 great holy nations, and it was the 10 great holy nations who took that place." When little Lizzie saw that Xianxia could immediately suppress his anger, he couldn't help but be shocked. This was because Xianxia was very calm, but that formless rage was extremely frightening. Without even needing little Lizzie to say it, Xianxia could already guess what kind of rubbish the 10 great holy nations were. "Little Lizzie, have you heard any news of Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu during this period?" Xianxia asked again. After so long, he felt that Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu should already be able to exit from closed-door cultivation. Yes, they were originally at the Divine Feather Holy Nations, but in the end they still joined our Hundreds of Flowers Palace, and were elders of our Hundreds of Flowers Palace. They went to the Life Forest several times, and wanted to look for you, but were stopped by the mistress. Xianxia asked, "Did they go to that place with Big Sis Qilian? What exactly is that place?" "I only know that place is the Chaos Realm. Asgard Mistress has allowed me to guard this place, and then take away Hundreds of Flowers Palace's main force, and the same goes for all the other great holy nations." Little Lizzie sighed. "They have been gone for 3 years, and there has not been any news at all. Have you ever sent anyone to practice them? Then where is the Chaos Realm?" Xianxia was suddenly very interested in the Chaos Realm. He felt that it had something to do with the Chaos Fire token. "It is inside the chaotic mountain of the original Sacred Dan realm," little Lizzie said. "That door is still open, but the people who went in did not come out. Asgard Master had instructed me before to not send anyone in to look for them." "So you're saying my master went in as well? All the experts who are familiar with you have gone in?" Little Lizzie nodded. "Right, where is May Emperor? This fellow should have already appeared." Xianxia was currently very gloomy. He had the nagging feeling that he lived a few thousand years less. What he did not know was that when the Azure Dragon used the time laws to send him away, a small problem occurred in the time and space tunnel, which resulted in him coming to the Dtion Palace for a very long time. It appeared and caused many big incidents. Furthermore, she was the one who discovered the Chaos Realm, and it is said that there are traces of the 9 heavens gods inside. Or maybe there was a 9 heaven devil palace inside. Everyone knows about the mysterious deaths of the 9 heavens gods. As long as we can find them, we will be able to obtain their inheritance. That's why many experts went to the Chaos Realm. Little Lizzie looked at Xianxia and pulled his sleeves. "Are you going to go in as well?" But before we go in, I want to take back the dragon fountain." Xianxia snorted. "These bastards, taking advantage of my absence, they actually took our dragon fountain." Just as Xianxia finished speaking, a powerful aura came from outside and penetrated through the restrictions in the secret room. penetrating inside. "They're back!" Little Lizzie shouted in shock. "Let's go out and take a look!" Xianxia suddenly wanted to curse in his heart. He was just thinking that the 10 great holy nations was not here, so he could take care of it. But now that LV Chilian and the others had returned, it meant that the experts of the 10 great holy nations were also back, which meant that it would be difficult to take care of them. After knowing that over 5,000 years had passed here, Lu Meng'er, Xianxia and the rest of the girls also hurriedly came out of the ring, which made her feel a little uncomfortable. They had not gone to the divine prison for long, but it had been 5,000 years since they had come here, which made them fall behind a lot. "Isn't this too much of a coincidence? They came back the moment I came out." Xianxia suddenly felt that this was definitely not a coincidence. The Hell Devil Emperor definitely knew that he had returned to Dtion. LV Chilian really returned with LV Qinlian and Ji Meixian by her side. Once they entered the hall, LV Chilian and the other two girls saw Xianxia and the others, but they were not surprised at all. They had obviously heard that Xianxia had returned. "This? Long time no see, it's not been too long." Xianxia sighed. "Being able to see all of you again is really good. Luckily I didn't fall behind by too much," Xianxia muttered. "They probably already have divine deity, but we are way behind them. Xianxia, you took them away for more than 5,000 years. What did you do?" LV Chilian looked carefully at the strength of Lu Meng'er, Xianxia, Lang Yulan, Dongfang Xinyue and the others, and he immediately got angry. "Chilian, this is not his fault. We've only been there 1 or 2 years. We don't understand why it has only been 5,000 years since we left that place." Lu Meng'er quickly explained. Xianxia sat on a chair and looked carefully at LV Chilian, LV Qinlian and Ji Meixian. LV Chilian's strength was very strong, but Xianxia was unable to see through her, since LV Qinlian already possessed divine deity, and he had even cultivated an emperor soul. Ji Meixian originally had the bloodline of the undying bird, and his strength was very strong as well. "What about them?" Xianxia asked. "Who are you talking about?" LV Chilian snorted. "This, Sister Yu and Sister Meiyao," Xianxia asked. He went back to the Divine Feather Holy Nations with Feng Yujie. When LV Chilian saw that Xianxia still had more to ask, he said, "Ziqian is also with them. They are both currently at the Divine Feather Holy Nations." Said that he would go and tidy up his clothes, and he will be there shortly. Zilan and the other 3 sisters went to take care of their business here, while the other 2 went to the Holy Spirit Rabbit's captivity room. Xiang Yu and Qianqian are still in Chaos Realm. Xianxia forced out a few dry laughs. He did not expect LV Chilian to tell him the whereabouts of these girls in one go. Xianxia, who was at the side, lightly pinched his waist and had a trace of jealousy on his face. Although she had long known that Xianxia had some ambiguous relationship with many girls, she couldn't do anything about it. "We will be refining in the Hundreds of Flowers Palace during this time. Chilian, I might need your help at that time," Lu Meng'er said. "Since you all know that Xianxia has returned, it means that Xianxia has not gotten rid of Hell Devil Emperor's tracing mantra yet." Xianxia and Dongfang Xinyue both returned to the ring to clean up. "After you entered the life forest, did you actually experience it? What kind of world is it inside?" LV Qinlian looked at Xianxia with a charming smile, but her eyes were filled with longing. "Let them talk. In short, I've only been inside for a year or 2, and I don't know how I lost those 5,000 years. Even if the time inside was disordered, it wouldn't be so disorderly as that." Xianxia was already suspecting that there was a problem with the Green Dragon's timecode power. "Bro, sis." When Mu Qianxiang came in and saw Xianxia and the others, she immediately shouted and threw herself into Lang Yolan's embrace. The 2 of them were very aggressive and had often fought together with deep feelings for each other. "Xiaoxiang, you're so much stronger than me," Lang Yulan said with a bitter face. "I lost 5,000 years, but I will definitely catch up." Then, Xianxia pulled Mu Qianxiang and told them what had happened in Divine Prison. "What exactly is inside the Chaos Realm? Why did you guys enter all of a sudden?" Xianxia asked. "The 9 Heaven World and the Endless Heaven Realm's core world. However, it is relatively dangerous inside, so it is not suitable for us to migrate. It is only suitable for us to search for treasures of the heavens and earth, as well as the remains of deities. Xianxia and Xianxia are inside searching for the holy level's medicinal ingredients. LV Chilian came over to Xianxia's side and continued. Because you suddenly came back, the holy nations' emperors all anxiously brought their people back, afraid that you would enter while you were still in the air. Speaking of the dragon subduing school being taken care of, the anger in Xianxia's heart immediately flared up. After the dragon subduing school was destroyed, where did they go? I'm going to look for them, Xianxia asked. You've only been there a year or two, and 5,000 years have passed. Are you sure you have the strength to fight back? LV Chilian said. At first, we were already prepared for a tough battle, but in the end your master chose to give up on the dragon subduing school. He was also very clear about the strength of the 10 great holy nations, and after so much time had passed, your master grew up in secret, so even though his strength has increased, he still feels that this is not the time for a big battle. Especially you. You are lagging behind a lot. Although LV Chilian could not see through Xianxia's current strength, according to common sense, Xianxia was more than 5,000 years behind. No matter how strong he would definitely be unable to compare to the 10 great holy nations who had the Hell Devil Emperor's secret support. Also, right now, the strongest is the Fire Divine Nations. The Fire Divine Nations is alone and not within the 10 great holy nations, but the one with the most dragon vein is this Fire Divine Nations. Because the Fire Divine Nations is secretly supported by the Fire Divine Palace above, and is even more powerful in every aspect. What? Xianxia gritted his teeth. Could it be that the half-dead Fire Emperor from back then became very strong? That's right. Qi Shi was injured by him. I was almost killed. That Fire Emperor is really strong now. I'm afraid even I am not his match. If you want to start a war now, my Hundreds of Flowers Palace will definitely support you, but you better think carefully. At the very least, you need to understand what happened during the past 5,000 years. LV Chilian let out a light sigh. She could clearly feel Xianxia's current anger. Her own dragon subduing school would definitely be very angry if it was taken away and her dragon veins snatched away. If we are to start a war, I will not allow you all to participate. My dragon subduing school can take care of it. Xianxia's voice was calm. Looking at Long Shui, he smiled lightly. Very high elder of dragon subduing school. Let's go. Bro, I want to go too. Leng Yulan knew that she was very weak now, but she really wanted to help. I'm going too. I've obtained the Sword Emperor's inheritance, and now I already possess the divine deity, Mu Qianxiang said with a confident smile. Yulan, you stay here. Chilian should have a way to help you all quickly increase your strength. Menger, put aside the matter of refining the divine vessel. Make good use of the Holy Spirit rabbit blood. Also, I will send you the holy elixir at regular intervals. Hearing Xianxiang's calm tone, Leng Yulan and Mu Qianxiang did not say any more, because Xianxiang gave them a very strange feeling, causing them to not dare to disobey. Qi Shi said that you would definitely be able to find the bottom of their Yuming deep abyss. LV Chilian said, do not force yourself. If you need help, Hundred Blossom Holy Nations, Ice Dragon Holy Nations, Demon Suppressing Holy Nations, Divine Feather Holy Nations and Floating Life Holy Nations will all be able to help you. Floating Holy Nations? Xianxiang never thought that the Emperor Lu Fuxing of the Floating Holy Nations would actually have such a good relationship with the Dragon Subduing School. Yes, during the Great Battle back then, Lu Fuxing participated in it as well. If your master did not ask for it to stop, I think that even though the outcome was somewhat tragic, the Dragon Subduing School and the Dragon Vein could still be preserved. LV Chilian said, my master might be crazy, but he did a good job on this. If there had been too many casualties at that time, it would not have been a good thing. The Hell Devil Emperor would have used the large number of dead spirits to recover from his injuries. Xianxiang said, I'll go find my master and the others first, and after I'm done chatting with them, I'll come back to discuss an important matter with you, because I urgently need a batch of holy-level medicinal herbs. What Xianxiang said was precisely to cultivate the alive slain method with her, and condense those spirit pearls with her. At that time, she would have to kiss him endlessly, but she had some expectations in her heart. Even though she looked like a high and mighty emperor on the surface, but seeing that Xianxia had returned, she was extremely excited. After Xianxia left the 100-blossom holy nations, he immediately opened a spatial door and went to the bottom of the Yu Ming deep abyss. When he thought of how dragon-subduing school was forced to hide in this deep abyss, the anger in Xianxia's heart burned once again.